So have you read 11th newspaper? No? I have a doubt that whether you are reading newspapers or not. So that's a very genuine and honest doubt whether you people are reading the newspaper on your own or not. I have some answers, but I don't want to discuss it in open, right? If you are not, then that is totally your loss. Why? Kalyan Sir is not going to write prelims or mains. Yes or no? Who is eligible to write prelims and mains? You people. Who should be reading newspapers? You people. The answer is very simple. In Telugulo, we have a idiom. ఎద్దున్నోడికి బండి ఉండదు, బండి ఉండేవాడికి ఎద్దు ఉండదు. It means those who are capable, they are supposed to read. For those who come from North India, there is also a idiom. हल हम चलाएंगे तो बैल क्या चलाएगा? Right? So everybody should do their own job. So having said idioms in the beginning of the class, we will try to look at some newspaper articles based on the last few days. So specially, there is an article in 11th newspaper which we have discussed briefly yesterday in relation to the disaster management, disaster risks. So readable our efforts to reduce disaster risks. So why disaster management is such an important topic? Why is it such an important topic? First of all, when you become district collector, it is the most obvious role that you will play. Disaster management. Okay. Even better, disaster mitigation. Yes or no? Management is something that happens probably in a holistic scale. Before, while and after. Yes or no? 3 different stages. Before disaster happened, what are you doing? While disaster is happening, what are you doing? After disaster has happened, what are you doing? Yes or no? India is such a country where thousands of people used to die because of simple like cyclones. Cyclone Philin in 1990s in Odisha, right, was a very dangerous cyclone. Okay, thousands of people have died. Recently in Gujarat, when the cyclone came, a severe cyclone, okay, it was reported as 0 deaths. 0 deaths. So do you see the progress from thousands of lives lost to 0 deaths? That means not a single person died because of disaster. That is a proper disaster management. Okay, but all these things don't happen overnight. They takes years of planning. Yes or no? Years of planning, training, maintenance, and all those things. For example, biscuits, multi-grain biscuits or multi-nutritional biscuits will be there. During disasters, you don't get food. You'll be cut off from the surrounding areas, water or something. Okay, people will only be given what? Biscuits, but they should also be nutritious. You have to store and protect the biscuits during normal time. Only then you can give such biscuits during disasters. When disaster is happening, you cannot call people and say send us biscuits. Yes or no? Such small trivial details to awareness generation. Why? Let's imagine you are a fisherman. Okay, you are going to the sea to catch the fish, but somebody should tell you, please don't go, cyclones might come. So that means from the fisherman all the way till collector, yes or no, everybody should be involved in the framework. That macro thought process is disaster management. Okay, now why we have to redouble our efforts? Why should we redouble? We are doing fine, no? I just told you in Gujarat we have 0 disasters. I mean 0 deaths. So why should we redouble our efforts? The most obvious answer is climate change. When climate change increase, the climate change happens, okay, or the Anthropocene happens, automatically what are increasing? Disasters are increasing. Yes or no? How do we know that? India had huge diversity. India is called as subcontinent. From Ladakh all the way till Tamil Nadu, nobody is safe. Yes or no? From Gujarat all the way till Arunachal Pradesh. Every single area in this country have different geography, different diversity. Yes. Is a drought a disaster? Drought a disaster, huh? Floods, earthquakes. What else are other disasters that you know of? Cyclones. We only have cyclones, no? Then India, what kind of disasters does India face? Hmm. Hmm. Excess rainfalls, which obviously leads to floods. Hmm. Then acid rains is disaster, huh? Hmm. Okay. Zoonotic diseases are a disaster. Okay. Mm-hmm. Pandemics are disasters, huh? Landslides, landslips, landfalls. Yes or no? Cloud bursts. All these are reasons and symptoms of disasters. Yes or no? See, simple things like road caving out. That means two villages are connected through a road. Road is washed away because of flood. That is also a problem. People will die. Yes or no? Or people won't get services. So we don't even know what kind of new or impactful disasters will come because of climate change. So that is why this article is talking about the most basic things, that is disasters are happening all over the world, and what is causing that? Climate change. For example, they talk about, war, debt. Okay, all these things are extreme weather events. Recently in Mexico we had something called as a drought. Okay, but the specialty is it was labeled as 1,000 year drought. That means in the last 1,000 years nobody faced that kind of drought. In which part of the world? Mexico. Okay, the unprecedented floods in China. Okay, in China we had severe floods. In European countries we have wildfires. In America you have wildfires, California, other area. That means the world is so diverse that one area we are having so much dry, sun or heat waves are increasing. Even in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar this year we have seen people dying because of heat waves. But few kilometers away in Uttarakhand we are seeing excess rainfall and landslides. Okay, right? In Gujarat you have a cyclone. In Kerala again you have landslides. Like this, the diversity is huge. All these things bring us to the basic discussion that we are not even ready for the disasters. Okay, we have to work even more. Next, the basis of this article takes is sustainable developmental goals. Okay, sustainable developmental goals is one of the solutions for all these things. We have to grow, but we also should be what? Sustainable. What are sustainable developmental goals? I told you the other day how many sustainable developmental goals are there? 7? Sure, huh? Did I say the same number or different number? I'm doubting. 17 only. You remember 17? Okay, there are how many sustainable developmental goals? 17 sustainable developmental goals with 169 sub targets. Okay, if we can achieve or are on the path of sustainable developmental goals, we will be kind of disaster ready also. Example, the first sustainable developmental goals is eliminate poverty in all its forms. Okay, when disasters happen, who are the worst affected? Poor people and vulnerable people. Disasters only accelerate the poverty, so we have to manage. Like this, everything is interlinked. Does this number make sense now to you people? 1.5 degrees. Why does it make sense? Tell me, what is its significance? What is the significance of 1.5 degrees?
It is whole world, whole global climate. Average is like 1.5 degrees centigrade. If more than that, it will create more hazardous and disastrous
Climate change. So this year, technically speaking, purely facts based, but the world has actually crossed 1.5 degrees. That is very, very bad signal, because we have one of the warmest years in the record. Warmest July, warmest June in the world in the modern day is in this year. So it is very clear that climate change is happening. Second thing, we also have a framework called as Sendai framework. Next time whenever you hear disaster management, this name should come to your mind. You cannot not write about Sendai framework. Whenever you hear disaster management, which framework should come to your mind? Sendai framework. It is a place in Japan. In Japan, all of us have sat together, discussed and created a framework called as Sendai framework for disaster management. Okay. Next. See, this is a benchmark article. That means as a beginner, you have no clue about disasters and all those things. No. From now on, if you understand such kind of articles, it will act as a template for future articles. That is why I am spending some time. Next, this word also we have discussed earlier, if you remember. Resilience. What is resilience? In which context did we discuss about resilience? Think. CDRI. Where did we discuss CDRI? Shura? Okay. CDRI. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that time we have discussed CDRI, Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. That means if the buildings are resilient, then disasters will come down or increase? They will come down. Turkey, that is early Turkey, okay, Libya recently, and Morocco. Okay, if you see the disasters in all these places, they are caused by buildings. There is a quote: earthquakes don't kill people, bad buildings do. Okay, earthquakes don't kill people. If you read the Morocco articles, after the Moroccan earthquake, the next day people are sleeping on the roads. They are not sleeping in their homes. Why? People are scared to death, literally, that if they sleep under the buildings will collapse on them and they will die. Okay, so you should construct buildings in such a way that they can withstand what? Disasters, natural disasters, earthquakes. Yes or no? So Sendai framework, Indian government, everybody is asking you to construct what kind of buildings? Resilient buildings. Okay. Next. It is also, the article also encourages you to work on what? Digital innovations, computer modelings to predict what? The disasters. Something is happening, then we should be ready. See, sir, it is so silly. Why are you discussing such a trivial point? I will tell you. Before 2004, okay, we didn't have a tsunami warning system. We didn't have what? Tsunami warning system. That means a huge wave will be coming towards the seashore. All of you know tsunami, right? You must have seen that movie, Dasavataram. Yes or no? So tsunamis you know. But the problem is, nobody told us that tsunami is coming. We were not aware. Lakhs and lakhs of people perished because of lack of warning systems. Okay. Now we have a tsunami early warning system. That means tsunami is coming, please run away. At least people who are on the beaches will move towards higher places. One life will be saved at least. So that is the power of early warning systems. Modelings will also predict such things. Okay, a drought is about to come. So be prepared. Protect groundwater, save groundwater, inform the farmers, inform the residents of that area. All these things are helpful for what? Computer modeling or disaster management. Okay, next you have one more thing, that is proactiveness. All 28 states in India have what? Their own disaster management plans. This also goes into your answer writing. Why it will go into your answer writing? 28 states, 28 different geographies. Yes or no? No two states actually have the same kind of geography. Everybody will have their own problems. So disaster management has to be localized. So this is called as bottom up planning. This is called as what? Bottom up planning. What is bottom up planning? Somebody in Delhi is not deciding what Arunachal Pradesh should do. Arunachal Pradesh is telling Delhi what we will do. You understand the difference, no? Okay, so that is the importance. So this is a case study. In GS paper 1 geography or in GS paper 3 disaster management, you can put a box in your answer writing and say case study. Recently in Gujarat, we have done proper disaster management. What did we do? We achieved 0 death toll. That is a huge success for India. Yes or no? How? We were prepared, we were responsive, and we had early warning and action system. Warning alone is not enough. You will go to every village and make sure that action is being done. How people are reluctant to move away to dry places or different villages. We are making them move away from cyclone affected path. Yes or no? See, common sense. Cyclone won't follow a road, right? It is not from Ahmedabad to Gujarat. It won't travel on roads. It can travel anyway. It can change its path overnight. It can go right, it can go straight, it can go left. So you have to be ready for any contingency. So all these things are not simple things. When you become district collector, you'll understand the gravity of situation. But till then, you have to understand this is a successful case study that should go into your answer writing either in GS paper 3 or GS paper 1. This is also example of good governance. Yes or no? This is also example of good governance. Not only that, they also discuss about 15th Finance Commission. So today in Indian Express there is an article about 16th Finance Commission. Okay, so finance commissions are also giving special emphasis to what? Disaster financing. Here we will discuss common sense. What is common sense? You are a chief minister. If I go and tell to you, sir, I need 1000 crores. Why? Sir, we have to construct shelters. Array, when will we use? Sir, once in 5 years we will get cyclones. No, for that we need shelters. Do you think the chief minister will be happy to give money? No, right? Because you have limited resources. Why should I block 1000 crores for disaster shelters? Like this mindsets will be there at certain politicians. So 15th Finance Commission is forcing the states to focus more on disaster financing. This is also one point. Okay. But slowly, sooner than later, India understood one concept, that is return of income. What is return of income? What is return of income? You are spending 1 rupee, how much is coming back? Okay, sometimes you will spend 1 rupee to save 10 rupees. Example, insurance. Health insurance, you will pay how much? 10,000 rupees per annum as a premium. Okay, that 10,000 rupees is a investment. But your health insurance is up to what? 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs. That means whatever happens to you, it is protecting you. So that is a very good return on investment. Yes or no? So think about Bengaluru. In Bengaluru, what happened? Urban floods have happened. Entire Bengaluru came to standstill. Nobody can move. No office is working. Everything is lost. Every single day, Bengaluru almost made 300 to 400 crores loss. Yes or no? By not doing activity, by not opening offices and business activities, how much did Bengaluru lose revenue? 400 crores per day. Okay, if you have invested 800 crores in proper drainage maintenance, okay, you would have saved same amount of money. Yes or no? For the rest of the year. So every single rupee that you don't spend on disaster management, you will pay elsewhere. Simple example, Uttarakhand disaster. Uttarakhand rains happened for 3 days. Landslides and all this happens for just 3 days. Okay. Do you know how much the Uttarakhand chief minister asked the central government? 10,000 crores. He asked 10,000 crores for the reconstruction and rehabilitation. You understand the damage that happens? So all these are what? Return of income. If you don't invest in proper infrastructure, drainage, disaster shelves, okay, the cost will be very high. So it's better to invest commonsensically. I will tell you one more commonsensical example. Think about it. Gujarat, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, East Coast, they will always face cyclones. Okay. One of the most common problems is trees will fall on the electric poles, or electric poles will be washed away. Okay. Again, you have to lay the entire electric lines. Okay. For few days, electricity won't be there. That is a loss to the industries. Okay. The best thing to do is what? Underground electricity cables. Okay, which is a costly thing, but if you do that, you are saving money for future purposes. When cyclone is there, you will probably turn on the power, nothing will happen. After the cyclone, probably you can use the systems again. Very less time you can recover. But if you are using traditional poles, it will cost you more. All these things are what? Return of income, return of the costs. Okay, like this you have to make the benchmarks. All right, next. As I said, I have explained this point. Early warning systems, why they are useful. I gave you some examples. Now lastly, You need to remember this particular point. This particular point is what? Leave no one, or no one is left behind. That is the principle. I can boast zero deaths only when no one is left behind. Okay, is it that important? How? Why? From administrative point of view, what is the problem in implementing that? No one is left behind. Or it is very hard to move pregnant women, differently abled, senior citizens, people who are in ICU. Just think about it. Yes or no? A flood is about to happen in your area, or there is a prediction of tsunami or earthquake. Do you think it's that easy to move everybody, even under severe medical emergencies? Right? You need to have such kind of wonderful infrastructure where you can move even the pregnant women. In Gujarat, that is exactly what happened. It's not that simple, no? So many women delivered babies in the disaster shelters also. Okay, such kind of infrastructure should be there. It's not only having shelters, the shelter should be ready for all kind of contingencies. Such kind of depth and preparation is called as disaster management. It's not just moving away people. Normal people, anybody can move. Yes or no? Moving such senior citizens or people who are disabled, wheelchairs, stretchers, do you think all these things are easy? No, that is where administration shines. That is the greatness of disaster management. I hope you understand. When I say leave no one behind, it has a much empathetical and deeper meaning. Understood the essence? So all these terms are forever useful in UPSC. As long as you are in UPSC, you can use any of these terms, any of these examples to convey how disaster management has to be achieved. Clear? Okay. Again, the summary is, as Antonio Guterres says, okay, disasters will happen, but they do not become deadly. Yes? Is there any disaster that is happening in the country right now? Are we managing anything? Nipah virus. Yes or no? Nipah virus is a severe issue. Why it's a serious issue? It's a very deadly virus. If we don't manage it properly, it will become an outbreak. It will become a outbreak. So, and it will affect all age groups. It doesn't have any specificities, prior and all those things. Okay. So, government of Kerala and government of India are coordinating very nicely to control Nipah also. So, these are the problems. With the climate change, we will see new issues coming out again and again and again. Okay. That is a summary. Right? So Nipah breaks out again in Kerala, claims 2 lives. Okay. You can find infographics everywhere, what is Nipah, how Nipah spreads and all those things, but we have already discussed this One Health approach. One Health approach, do you remember? What is One Health approach? People, nature and animals, all of us should be in harmonious situation. Okay. If we interact more with, let's say, bats and all those things, that means human animal conflict is increasing. These are all called as zoonotic diseases. So nothing new. Kerala has experience of handling COVID, Nipah and all such deadly outbreaks. So Kerala has a better disaster management than many states. So let's hope and expect that Nipah will be controlled very soon. And some people will always use such things for what? Political agendas. But as Indians, rationally, how should we progress? We should progress on controlling the disaster, not on the political brownies. Okay. Next. The next article is about retail inflation eases, food price still bite. Okay. This one is about what? Retail inflation. So again, for a beginner, you may not understand the technicalities of this article, but it's common sense to understand very simple thing. Because of the food supply, because of the supply side issues, that is, food is not being properly supplied, food prices are high or low? they are better than earlier, but they are still very high. Yes or no? Earlier it was around 7 something, now it is around 6.7. So it is reduced, but still not as much as we want it to be. Okay, and one important word in that article is consumer price index. One day you will understand its importance. For now, today just understand, one is retail, the other one is wholesale. Wholesale is WPI, retail is consumer price index. After economic classes, it will start making more sense. Remember this last 2 days I mentioned the same point. Yes. So SC woman cook row in Tamil Nadu. Okay. Collector had breakfast with the children. This is aiming for what? Behavioral change. This is about behavioral change. So we have to change the behavior. And as I said, as a collector, whenever you hear first such news, okay, you should not think obviously it is about a community or a woman. Sometimes there will be personal issues also. Okay, it's a personal problem between the cook and the other person. So that can also be a reason. You have to be open for all kinds of things. So it can be obviously casteism, but I also have a personal issue. I am settling that score using caste. So like this, lot of things will happen. Okay. See, why will collector leave all his important works and go to a school and have breakfast? It is his responsibility. That is, social justice is very, very important. So such things have to be kept in the mind. As I said, case study, ethics, case study. Okay. Right. Not much important, but just remember there is a scheme called as Narega. You must have some idea. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme or Act. Okay, this is a rural employment scheme. That means any person in rural area who wants a job can go to the government and say, sir, I need job, and government will give some unskilled work. The word is what? Unskilled. Remember that word very nicely. Whenever I say Narega, the work is unskilled. You don't have to know anything. Okay, anybody can do Narega work. Even the panchayat or the sarpanch son can also go and do Narega work. Okay, so there is no bar on Narega. Okay, that is a UPSC prelims question. That is why I am mentioning specifically sarpanch son. The concept here is, when you are asking work, I am giving you work, but I am linking it to JAM Trinity. I am linking it to what? JAM Trinity. Do you remember JAM Trinity? JAM, JAM. Long ago we discussed. Jandan account, mobile and Aadhaar. Collectively these three are called as JAM Trinity. Yes or no? Okay. So that is one reason. And when people don't get money in time, that will lead to rural distress. Okay. So the lesson here is, JAM Trinity or otherwise, people of Narega should get wages in the right time. So in the long run, when you hear about Narega, what is one of the issues of Narega? Wages are not given in time. Okay, that is all you have to remember for today. What is Narega? It's a Rural Employment Guarantee Act for who? For rural people and about unskilled work. Okay. Next, I will introduce to you one more small concept. You might have ignored it or missed it. There is a statutory body called as National Green Tribunal. Okay, National Green Tribunal. That is a prelims question in itself. Okay, There is Supreme Court, there is High Court, there is local courts, there are so many things. But still Government of India is forced to create a dedicated body for the planet, that is environment. So that body is nothing but National Green Tribunal. Very, very important body and its decisions are very impactful. Okay. In mains also you will see what are the steps taken by NGT to protect the environment and all those things. Okay. So recently what happened? A particular state government has allowed motorized boats in a lake or a water body. Okay. Then NGT is coming and saying no motorized boats in wetlands. Okay, you should not allow motorized boats in wetlands. That will destroy what? The wetlands. Okay, wetlands means what? It can be a lake, it can be a pond or anything. Okay, here the prelims question is Boj wetland. So the question like match the following: Boj wetland, which area? Renuka wetland, which state? Okay, Kolleru, which state? Like this, they will give 4. Okay, there are now around 70 something wetlands. You may not remember everything, but every year almost one question comes in UPSC from what? Wetland sites. Not all wetlands, especially from Ramsar wetland sites. If you go to UPSC previous year papers 20, 21, 22, 23, you will find Ramsar definitely in 2 sir, not our Ramsar. This is what? Ramsar wetlands. Okay, different things. So we have a wetland convention. So what are the topics you learned today? There is something called as wetlands, that can be lakes, ponds, rivers, mangroves, anything. They are protected under Ramsar. Okay, Ramsar wetland sites. They are designated as Ramsar wetland sites. So if something is happening in them, that is a problem. So we have to protect them. If nobody is protecting them, who will intervene? National Green Tribunal will intervene. Clear? Yes. So tomorrow homework, what is so special about Renuka wetland? There is a wetland called as Renuka wetland. So do some googling, research, basics. Okay, what is so special about what? Renuka wetlands. Right? Yes. Again, I am not going to bore you to death with Gautam Bhatia's article, but Gautam Bhatia is a very important intellectual thinker. He is a Rhodes Scholar. He also practices in Supreme Court. His articles normally are supposed to be sane and useful for UPSC. Okay. So whenever you hear this name Gautam Bhatia, I encourage you to read his articles. He talks from the constitution point of view, not government. Sometimes he has a tinge of anti-government. I mean, not supporting the government. That does not make him anti-national or anything, right? He talks very rationally most of the times. So here today he is talking about what? Simultaneous elections. Let's not go into the depth of simultaneous elections again. What is his core point? His core point is about federal structure, federalism. His core structure is about federalism. See, I told you 7th schedule, state list, union list, concurrent list, like this everybody have powers. Okay, so normally when we discuss about power, okay, you have to imagine it like this. People think center, under center we have states, under states we have local self governments. This is how people think. Okay, but in reality power is like this. If this is 100%, okay, center has this amount of power, state have this amount of power, local self government have this amount of power. They are not hierarchical. Nobody is under anybody. Okay, local self government is not subservient to state, or state is not subservient to center. All of us are power structures. You have center powers, you have state powers, you have local self government powers. You have to do your job. That means panchayat elections. Who is responsible? Local self government. Okay, law and order. Who is responsible? State is responsible. National security. Who is responsible? Center is responsible. Like this, powers have been divided. Okay, now if we go to centralization, there is a problem. What is that problem? Parliamentary form of government will become presidential style of government. Okay, parliamentary form of government will become what? presidential form of government. If you think about it, Indian federal structure have already moved towards centralization. Yes? Yes or no? Money wise, GST came, most power is now with central government. Okay? Politics, most power is now with national parties. Yes or no? Very few states have dominant local parties. Okay? Even they have to join hands with national parties, or national parties have to join hands with local parties. Vice versa is also true. But the thing is, on their own, very few local parties are very powerful. Right? So, in the end, who will become more powerful? Central will become more powerful. And in India, in 2024, we have elections. When the elections happen, how are we going to discuss about the elections? There are how many MPs in the country? Forget about simultaneous elections. Even say normal elections. Around 200 to 300 MPs have to be elected. For Rajya Sabha, forget. 250, 400 MPs will be elected every 5 years, right? We don't discuss individual MPs, right? We talk only in the terms of Modi versus Rahul Gandhi. Yes or no? We forgot that we have a local MP. I don't even know my local MP. I don't care. Why? For me, all I see is face of Prime Minister Modi or face of opposition leader, that is Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Okay, it has become what? Personalized, right? It has become more like a presidential style of government. In USA, how do we discuss Biden versus Donald Trump, or Biden versus that new fellow? Okay, or something like this we will discuss. In India, we are a parliamentary democracy. We are supposed to discuss about our own local MP. We are supposed to ask our local MP, sir, what is your opinion about poverty in my district? How are you bringing water to my district? We are supposed to ask you all these questions to whom? Our MLAs and our MPs, but we forgot all those things. We directly talk about Chandrababu Naidu versus Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy, or Rahul Gandhi versus Prime Minister Modi. What happened to the rest of the 540 MPs? We don't care. Okay, that is what Gautam Bhatia has summarized in this line by saying already centralized and presidential character of Indian election campaigns. That line, if you understand the depth, everything else will make sense. Okay. If we go to simultaneous elections now, it will only increase Modi versus Rahul Gandhi. Okay, at least if there is election in Madhya Pradesh, in Karnataka recently, they were talking about whom? What is his name? Siddaramaiah versus, or what is the opposition person? Yedurappa or something like this. At least they were saying some names of local governments. Yes or no? Or they will talk about Shivraj Singh Chauhan versus Devendra Fadnavis or something like that. They will take some local names. But if all states are going for one election one day only, they will discuss only about Modi or Rahul Gandhi. And I like Modi, so then I will vote for BJP. My local MP is a criminal, but I still will vote for BJP. Why? Modi hai to sab hai. Modi hai to mumkin hai. Yes or no? So like this, we are changing democracy into presidential style. That's all. Okay. Simple to understand. We should not change the federal character of India. We should vote for our local governments because we have local problems. Okay. Mr. Modi is MP of Varanasi. He is not MP of Rangareddy district. He is not MP of your district. He is MP of Varanasi. But looking at Varanasi's problem, he will solve Varanasi's problem. Who will be responsible for your local problems? Your local MP. Are we asking them? Are we making them more accountable? Do they even have a voice? Do they matter? Yes or no? Tomorrow I can take all of you in the classroom and make BJP MPs, and probably will also win. Why? People are not voting looking at your faces. People are voting for Mr. Modi. That is the change at the grassroots level. Okay, enough of the discussion. Understood? Nothing to confuse. Simple. Power is like this. The other one is like this. Okay. So his suggestion is don't go for simultaneous elections. We'll come back to the CBA article. There is one more small article. So I think this is a scheme that we have launched recently. Just remember Ayushman Bhav campaign. What is Ayushman Bhav campaign? Ayushman. What is it? What must be it related to? It must be related to health. Okay. So this scheme is targeted towards healthcare services in every village and town in the country. More details about this will come out sooner than later in the PIB website. We will discuss what is Ayushman Bhav campaign, budget, features, who, targets, and all these things will come out later. But just remember, there is a new scheme called as Ayushman Bhav campaign, not scheme, basically campaign, so that more people will be covered under the health. Okay. Mostly that is all that is useful to you in the newspaper. Yes. Right. Anything useful on the board? Say bye to diesel. Mr. Nitin Gadkari is warning higher taxes if you use what? Fossil fuel based engines. Okay, he's asking you indirectly to move towards hybrid engines or electric vehicles. Yes or no? So you have to move towards petrol plus ethanol or preferably electric vehicles. But as I said, there should also be what? Incentive. Incentive for whom? For the consumer to move towards electric vehicles. For example, Delhi government, most state governments will give no taxation, road tax and all these things will be waived off if you are buying what? Electric vehicles. Yes. Apart from that, government is also having FAME 1, FAME 2 schemes which will give subsidy for you to buy electric vehicles. All these are incentives. More the incentives, more the people will move towards electric vehicles. Okay. So without doing that, if you coerce people to shift towards electric vehicles, that is not going to work. More incentives means more attraction. So like this. There are actually very good articles in Indian Express. I am not discussing Indian Express to you because you people are still trying to get into that hang of what is newspaper reading. You are supposed to read newspapers, then we can compare notes. That is the basic thought process, right? For example, as I said, today there is a wonderful article about 16th Finance Commission. Yesterday there was article about mental health and the suicides issue, quota issue we have discussed, So such topics are important for your mains. So if you people can read Hindu newspaper on your own daily basis, regular basis, we can slowly include Indian Express also in our classes. But if you are totally relying on the DNA classes, I will definitely tell you, you are only getting limited value. If you read, then listen to my explanation or value addition, it makes more sense. Got my point? Yes. And anyhow, your focus should be on basics like polity, history, economy, geography, NCRTs or whatever. That if you understand those subjects better, newspaper will start making more sense to you. If you know what is inflation, we can discuss more about inflation, what is inflation targeting and all those things. So I'm adjusting myself to your knowledge level so that you won't feel like too much. At the same time, you should have some idea about what is happening in the world. Okay, are you able to understand that much? Sure. Are you missing anything? Are you reading? You can be honest with me. Sometimes, kabhi kabhi. One day you read, one day you don't. So tomorrow, please try to come by reading which newspaper? 14th newspaper. Today's newspaper, no? Today's 14th. Yes. I'm not even discussing today's newspaper. Today's newspaper is again about the Jammu and Kashmir and all those things. There is also editorial about, I think, Nipah virus and other things. So, if you want to understand this biofuel article, you have to read and come. So, then we will discuss what is biofuels, what are the 4 generations of biofuels, prelims questions that came from biofuel topics. Like this, we can add value. But if you don't read, I will say biofuel, 4 generations, you will say okay sir. That is not value addition. Okay. So please don't think I'm not discussing in depth because you are not in a position to remember. It's not about me not discussing. It's about you learning how to read the right articles. So spend time on the right articles. Any questions?
So in Ayushman, though there was some term I forgot it, started with saturated. Objective was to cover more people who are not aware of this Ayushman Bharat scheme.
Insurance has been saturated and all these things.
There is specific term, three words.
In today's paper, yesterday's paper.
Today's paper.
This article. No? You will let me know tomorrow. We will discuss anyhow. Yes. Any questions? You should read and come. You should not come here and read. Okay. This is not reading class session. This is discussion session. Discussion will happen after reading. You will have some doubts. Sir, I didn't understand what is that. You don't even know whether Sendai framework is important or not. I told you Sendai is important. Okay, what is Sendai? No clue. Yes or no? So tomorrow we'll focus on the biofuel article. So I'm telling today only. When you read that biofuel article, read with attention, underline all the keywords. Then we will compare whether we have covered all the things or not. Now my simple question is, what is circular economy? Try to recollect what is circular economy. Can you justify that with a fact? Why we need circular economy? If that is my simple question to you, can you tell me what is circular economy and can you give me a fact why we need circular economy? What is the fact? Eco-friendly. Aluminium frames. Why is my question? Why do we need circular economy? Sorry? To reduce e-waste, to reduce the use of virgin materials. But still I don't hear facts. We don't have to extract more mines. But all these are facts only. They are facts in a way, but they are not exactly substantiated facts, right? What percentage of Indians are using mobiles, or how many mobile phones are in the circulation? So you can understand, right? So many people are using smartphones. Smartphones are not made of thin air. Yes. So much amount of plastic or e-waste will be generated. So like this, we have to start being curious and try to find out the data. Don't worry, we'll cover all these things slowly. But I hope so far you are able to understand my frequency of what I mean by reading newspapers. It's not like for fun, I read something, disasters happened. It's developing that common sense. Why is that point there? Before 2004, there was not even common sense that we are supposed to have early warning system. Now people will think Sir is saying all trivial things. Hardly 20 years ago, we didn't have that kind of common sense. What looks like common sense for you now was wisdom for people after 2004. Okay, so you have to understand the impact. Got my point? Yes. Or we never thought industrial range disasters can happen. Only 1984 unfortunate Bhopal gas tragedy has made us understand that even industries can kill thousands of people. No, all these things you are supposed to slowly get into your system. Okay. Yes, we'll continue the discussion tomorrow. Right.